Morning, my profane friends. Remember, because if you speak out, corrupt people will get in trouble. Your government wants you to keep quiet, because if you speak out, they'll carry on being corrupt. So please don't be Masonic and talk up about your Masonic government ruling your life, because this is a fight between Freemasonry and the profane people. So please wake up. Today we've got some real good stuff going on, and I mean real good. You know what I mean? We've got like, oh wait there, sorry. Oh, I love it. Oh, yeah, we've got some real good stuff going on today. I've got some real good stuff here. Do you know what I mean? Do a bit of Mark Masters, and we're doing mind control and threats. Do you know what I mean? So we're going to take it a step further. But remember, do not keep shush to the corruption that's going on around you. This is what they want. You to be quiet, and you to keep quiet forever, because they can get away with it. Do not. I'm going to show you the Masonic army again today. Yeah? Remember, they're everywhere. Eyes and ears controlling your life. And I know the gang stalking Freemasons for what they are. So believe me, don't keep quiet, speak out. Any Freemason want to come, they know who I am, obviously, want to come and have a full-on interview with me, we can make that possible. And we'll get a lie detector, and we'll go on a lie detector test. And I'm sure you, with the amount of information that you hold in your head, you sure ain't going to spill any secrets, are you? Not with the questions I've got. I mean, you can ask me anything, and then I'll ask you. I've only got to ask you 3 questions, and that's to any Freemason in the local lodges around here. If not, carry on keeping quiet. That's what your professional job is, isn't it? Shushing up to corruption. Anyway, let's get on with the show. It's all exciting. Thanks for all my viewers, and share this video wide. Please don't keep it shh. I want it to go far and wide. It's the truth, it's the facts. And the quicker you wake up to what's behind everything, social services, police, and it's all Masonic, the faster you'll live in peace, trust me. Here we go anyway, thank you. Right, let's see, get the first order on. Right, what we've got. I'm now on YouTube, so if you want to go over there and share my videos, that'd be really appreciated. Thank you very much. Go to this guy, Chazifreds, I think. Anyway, he'll tell you all about the Octagon and the Freemasons. I mean, you think about it. Ask why a country, Switzerland, stayed out of the war. I mean, seriously, do you know what I mean? Why didn't Germany attack Switzerland? They attacked every other country apart from Switzerland. Think about that. Why would someone like that do that? You know what I mean? But again, like I said, when you're fighting a Masonic war and the Masonics are in charge, they'll only fight what they want, won't they? And if the Swiss are in charge, like it says here, then you know why the Switzerland was staying out and staying neutral, don't we? You know what I mean? But he'll tell you the truth. Go see him. Look at his videos. The gang stalked man there. I'm on YouTube. I'm also on MeWe if you want to go over there. Do you know what I mean? So I'm an eavesdropper, Cowan, and a profane man. I'm in the Uggle city of London. The Uggle. I love that. My high school was shushed up, and Demolo Etonian Lodge. That's where all your people that are leaders coming from the Masonic Lodge in Etonian. And obviously Cambridge. Well, they're all over the place, so I'm going to show you that tonight. Then you got that. But anyway, you go have a look. Anyway, and then I'm on BitChute. Not many hits on that. I've only just joined. But if you're on BitChute, please come up and join me and share my videos wide. And of course, you know about Zazon. And if you think I'm not in doing this for fun, I'm not. This is dangerous people. Look, this was done. Yeah, this was Order of the Solar Temple, and these people were stabbing and killing people, putting bags of their head. Go read it yourself. If you don't have to believe me. You know what I mean? Look, mass murderers. This is in 1994. Yeah, this is how dangerous the people are that you're up against. Yeah, and as soon as you get there, all you people are, you know, I know there's a lot of people looking for redress at the moment. But as soon as you go to take that power back, they're going to come out there with guns. They're going to come out there and they're all going to be armed, and that'll be the Freemasons and the Knights Templars, and all them Freemasons are going to be the ones that are armed, that are going to put you back down where you belong, and that's under their boot. You know what I mean? But you come and read this here. This is what they did. You know, and they were doing it to people. You know, pregnant women, a lot, and it's all in. You know, this is all in Switzerland. Yeah. Once you study it and learn it, but these are very dangerous people. Do you know what I mean? Order of the Solar Temple. This is just Freemasons. Even though I'm saying Order of the Solar Temple, it's just Freemasonry. That's all it is. They just hide it, you know, as you climb up. But it's Freemasons. You know what I mean? Like I said, read up on it. They're very dangerous. Very dangerous. Anyway, let's get on with the show. Here we go. I'll start off with Mark Masters, okay? Now, remember I told you, remember that little ball in the other video with a little cross on the top, look? You see? These are knights of the prior, yeah? Okay, look at the octagon, yeah? The octagon of the knights, yeah? Now, that guy who I said on YouTube, and I can't pronounce his name, I'm sorry, is Fritz, or I'll call him Fritz, yeah? These are the knights, okay? And there's the officers there. I don't have to go through them all, obviously, and that's where they sit in the lodge. You know what I mean? It's just a Masonic lodge, that's all it is. It's just, you know, blah blah. But if you're a knight and say you're a master mason, you wouldn't get in the knights. Do you know what I mean? You have to ritual up to that. Do you know what I mean? So that's what that's about. I'll leave that there. You can look at it yourself anyway and pause the video. But notice that one there with the double cross, with the two cross. That's a triple tour, what they call a triple tour. Yeah, triple tour cross. Obviously he's the highest fella in the land. You know what I mean? But notice the cross on the cross, if you get what I mean. Yeah, it's a kneeling still. Yeah, where they, you know, obviously take the vows or whatever they're going to do. Do you know what I mean? But you can work out yourself. I ain't got it. You know, I just want you to remember that, you know, the cross on top of the ball, okay? Because that's knights. All right. That'll come up in later videos. That will. Now this is the Provisional Grand Lodge of Mark Masters. Yeah, this is no entered apprentices. This is no Master Masons. This is no fellow craft Masons. This is actual just Mark Master Masons. All right, and look at the names. Okay, this is the people that are going to be armed and come after you if you don't do something about it. Do you know what I mean? Let me open it up a bit so you can read it. But you can read it in your own. See how many men can you raise sitting in your house now or watching this video? Look around you and ask how many men these men here, what you're seeing, all these men will get up together, and each and every one of them, if you're profane, will stand against you. Do you know what I mean? You're the hated profane. Believe that. All these men here, this little army here. And don't forget, these everyone below these, like the entered apprentice, blah blah blah, they all obey what these are, even though they're all equal. Do you know what I mean? They do as they're told. What these do. There's very strict rules. I'll show you that in a minute. You know, like you got Prince. Now these are their lodges, right? Now this is just a few of their lodges. This is the London lodges, yeah. Prince of Wales Lodge, Mallet and Chisel Lodge, and blah blah blah. Yeah, so let's get the lodges out of the way. I've got the hiccups, sorry. You can read them at your own leisure anyway, but it's also got the dress as well. That, you know what I mean? That's in Bucks, that's in Surrey, that's London. Do you see what I mean? Isle of Wight, you know, London obviously has a lot, Hertfordshire, but that's what I'm saying. This is all around the country. These are just Mark Masters. This isn't the full, you know, SP on what is out there. Do you know what I mean? You know. And obviously I'll just keep flicking through, you know what I mean? Like I said, Middlesex, it's all over the place, yeah? Okay, remember, oh yeah, if you look at the pages at the bottom, this is page 54, 56, look, and I'm actually jumping, I know that's 56, 57, I actually jump up and I skip ahead, so, you know, like there's 57 pages there, 56 pages of lodges, do you know what I mean? But that's just, remember, that's the Mark Masters lodges, okay? That's nothing to do with the other lodge, you know, all the other chapters and that. Do you see what I'm saying? The chapters within, yeah? Now this is like, here we go, look, right, now if we go to here, look, this is some, again, this is some of the role of the Mark Masters, yeah? This is the men, yeah, masters. Now below them, obviously, you've got entered apprentices, you've got fellow craft, master masons, blah blah blah, all the way up. So this is just one set of Freemasons, yeah, of masters. Do you see what I mean? Okay, and there they are, there, like there again. And if you read this here, featuring King Solomon, where is it? In the quarry. Now I don't know if you, I should have got the picture really, but if you search up the quarries, yeah, they actually have an underground like cave system or something under London, in old London. Do you know what I mean? But you'll have to have a look. Here's congregations of more lodges here. Look, these are other lodges. Do you know what I mean? Yeah, 5 Victoria crosses consecrated in 1926, but it just shows you how old they are. Notice the skull and bones here as well. Okay. This is in this book was in 1992, do you know what I mean? But it just shows you how far, 1870 there, look. You know what I mean? 1869, see what I mean? It goes right back, you know what I mean? And this is how old these have been about, do you know what I mean? And you don't think they've amassed any power, you know what I mean? And you've got to think, all the men I've just shown you have willed all their wealth and all their property to the lodge, do you know what I mean, or their chapter, do you see what I mean? So all their businesses are now passed down to another lodge, do you know what I mean, and that's passed to another Freemason to take over, do you see what I mean? So they own all the businesses, do you know what I mean? You ain't going to get anywhere, and if you do go up against them, they'll stalk it or look for a financial gain to take your business out, do you know what I mean? Whether that's, you know, like seducing your wife, or, you know, seducing your husband, or whatever way round you want to look at it, you know what I mean? They're very select, and if you've got any sort of power rising up, they will take you out, I'm telling you, without 2 questions asked. But that's that there. Browse them as at your leisure. Okay, then we go into another little book here. I got this, I haven't read it, I've only just skipped through it. Freemasonry Inside Out, a new angle on Masonic secrets by Hugh McFarland. Right, and this is the foreword. I mean, everyone must have read Martin Short's book anyway, which was very, very good. If you haven't read it, or sorry to speak, was so far away. Anyway, so yeah, look, Freemasons committed the unforgivable crime of breaking the code of silence. See, this is it. They're now, some of these are people who actually broke their own code of silence. You can read this book in my forum. I'm going to be putting it over there anyway. There's a lot more books of there in the forum if you go have a look. Okay. Freemasons often complain that they are the victims of a conspiracy theory. Sometimes they may be correct about that. Guys, that do make me laugh, the way they go up on themselves, right? Anyway, from this angle, the exercise would justify and think that we are the victims of Freemasonry own conspiracy theory, not that Freemasons is the victim of ours. You know what I mean? But like I said, read it, you know what I mean? And this is how it's going, do you know what I mean? The best of the best, you know what I mean? Hundreds of thousands of members psychologically, while similarly applying covert powers in society at large through the same solid phalanx of men, all sworn to serve the same ends. Do you see what I mean? It's in there. Oh yeah, therefore the control is applied both internally and externally, so that until recent at least Freemasons could not control most of its hundreds of thousands of members. Now it's getting out, obviously. We know, like, they're speaking out, do you know what I mean? But anyway, that's the foreword. You can read that at your leisure. And then I'm just picked out the best, you know, some of the interesting bits. Do you know what I mean? Lewis from Salt Posting. And you see, oh yeah, listen to this. See, Masonic bits are to go on sale. High street bookshops. Their press release claims that their decision to open up their books titles to the public has taken the book world by storm. But the only sort of works on offer included books on Masonic speech making, and theories about the origins, yeah, which is obviously wouldn't release anything else. But despite the press release claims, it was another whitewash, as in reality nothing secret was put into the public domain. So I'll put more into the public domain with my couple of videos than they have ever done in their entire bloody history, really, ain't they? Do you know what I mean? You know, I'll put more out, and I'm going to show you some more tonight. Another little secret sign they put in their little writing. You know what I mean? So if they're doing letters to judges and that, you'll see what sort of little configure or whatever, algorithmic, you know, like configure or whatever it's called. You'll see it actually in there. You know, you'll see it in a letter. You know what I mean? So, but you need to do, and take my advice on this. if you've had anything that's gone default on you and you think, oh, why have I lost that, do a Freedom of Information Act, and then get your paperwork in, and I suggest you scan through it. Do you know what I mean? And then do a bit of research on finding out who dealt with your case, and if there's Freemasonry behind it. You know what I mean? Rather than say, oh, it was that judge or this policeman or that. You know what I mean? Find out if Freemasonry was behind it, because if it is, you've more than likely lost your case because you're up against a Freemason, and I'll tell you that for nothing. Anyway, you read this at your leisure. Then bits. These are just bits I've took out of, as just interest to me. I thought could be a bit of an interest to you. This is about their charities again. No, here we go. Calculate as to how many hundreds of thousands of subscribed Masons there are, and guessing as to the average amount of annual Masonic charity donations they make. One is likely to arrive at the figure for the total income in terms of tens of millions of pounds, right? The published figures for the amount of grants and donations awarded to non-Masons charities amounts to less than £1 million, and are believed by some to be just a PR exercise. How the rest of the money is utilised should be openly disclosed to the brethren by the Grand Lodge. Well, that's what I'm saying. See, they make out their charities really good. You know what I mean? They even took it to their own courts, do you know what I mean? And lost the case because they were more self-serving to themselves, which I'm going to show you in this video, rather than to the public what they make out they do. You know what I mean? When people go, oh, they do charity work. Yeah, you do a lot of charity work, but it's all self-serving to themselves and their own cause. You got to put a badge on their fire engine or on a blood thing, and it's always to do with something else to do with masonry. Do you know what I mean? It's never to do with anything profane. They don't help profane people ever. And don't forget, every charity gets a certain amount of percentage of the profits. So do you know what I mean? I don't know. And I don't know what the numbers are. I should have looked it up really. Do you know what I mean? But if they're getting 20%, of every 100,000. You're talking, but they're into the millions and billions, aren't they? Do you know what I mean? So you imagine the percentage they got on the return on that. And there is, I think I've seen it in a few books where they actually do that. I'm going to show you some real numbers soon. Real numbers, what they were dealing with back in I think it was in 1926. I've got some real big numbers. I've got a few of their minute books. You know what I mean? But I'll show you anyway, if they don't kill me beforehand. Oh yeah, look at this. Look, this is a cracker. This is right. Look, because of the above passage, many Masons fall victim to fraudsters. And I was on about this in the last video, right? In 1890, Master Mason's Handbook warns the young Masons is invariably picked out as the prey for numerous unscrupulous adventurers. Yeah, that's the hobos, or was it the hobos they were called or something? I forgot again. Bloody hell, my mind's like racing. But they go about the town, like I said, from town to town, robbing other Masons. Do you know what I mean? Because if you're a low Mason, like an entered apprentice or a fellow craft, you're obliged to help the brother what's higher, like in the higher degrees. Do you know what I mean? If you've got to give him money, you give him money. Do you know what I mean? So they go around like robbing each other. Right, look, young Masons who put as prey as numerous unscrupulous events. Some, unfortunately, really Masons who degrade the craft into a means of gaining their livelihood. Others more mere impostors who have accidentally got hold of some chance word or phrase, generally quite inaccurate, on which they trade. Our newly raised brothers must remember that he is only enjoined to give such relief to the worthy, distressed brother as he can do without injury to himself or connections, and by giving indiscriminately to every beggar, he only promotes the impostor on other brethren. So that means, so what that means is basically they'll just, if you're out in the street, yeah, and if you say you were stuck somewhere, you can't, I wouldn't know who to ask. You can go around scrounging and begging, but they don't do that. All they do is just dance about with a little hanky on their shoulders, and I'll tell you what that is later, what this dance is, and then obviously they have to prove themselves, but it's always a secret word. What they do now, though, like I said, the word can be like page 98 down paragraph 6, boom boom, and then across whatever, and then they get a set of numbers. Do you know what I mean? In a particular book, and I ain't got to go into that neither, but that'll give them the password for that month, or every 6 months, or annually. Do you know what I mean? Depending, I ain't too sure. I can't remember now, but anyway, moving on. But yeah, they actually these dudes, yeah, because they're that honest. these dudes are going around town to town robbing obviously their lower brothers, do you know what I mean, because they have to answer and obey to them above them, do you know what I mean? So yeah, just as as Freemasons, they're around the globe. Imagine that. They started off in a pub. There's a few dudes in a pub, and now they've gone from a pub to every bloody town, city, village, hamlet, more than likely other dimensions and other planets. Do you know what I mean? Who knows? These guys are just absolutely unreal. You know what I mean? Anyway. But that was it. Look, it's a 10 million. This element of the Grand Charity currently stands at about 10 million. So if they're getting a cut of that 10 million, yeah, and that's spread between the lodge, because that's the pyramid system of a lodge. You see, it's always the pyramids. Do you know what I mean? The people at the bottom pays the people at the top, and they're on a good wage as well. Believe me, they're all on every Freemason is on a wage. Do you know what I mean? Right. Anyway, I'll give you time to read that yourself. Now, here we go into the interesting bit. My first degree in now this guy's he's the one who's spilling the beans. He's actually an experimental psychology in that, yeah. He took 2 master's courses. But again, if you want to read the full book, you need to go to my forum. See, but what he's basically saying here, because they, obviously they go through the rituals, and and obviously they're under threat as well. Do you know what I mean? There's pressure to conform. Are the 2 of the kinds: the fear of exclusion and the rewards of security. Because obviously if you're up against one Mason, like I said, he does a sign, every Mason in that room is going to come and help him and tell him, and they're going to protect him. Police turn up, they're all going to lie and stick up for their brother, whether he started it or not. You're the one who's gone down if you're profane, trust me. Support with the follow sex, anyway, yeah. So basically what he does with this mind control, yeah, and this is what this mind control is, like hypnosis, peer group pressure, and they do peer group pressure you, do you know what I mean, because there's loads of them, and if they got their eyes on you if you're an entered apprentice and a fellow craft, do you know what I mean, and you're looked at inside and out before you get anywhere, do you know what I mean? So before they, they're looking at you even maybe a year before you even get asked to join, do you know what I mean? And if someone's going to, even if someone vouches for you, they're going to say, oh, leave it, and then they're just going to watch you for a year before they even consider you, do you know what I mean? So, because they want to know everything about you. They don't want troublemakers in the lodge or anyone who's going to spill the beans, so they're very, very careful. But obviously, everything has its flaws, don't they? Do you know what I mean? So they use rational references: guilt, fear, and removal of privacy. The 2 basic principles of psychological coercion used by cults are that sudden change in environment lead to heightened sensibility, suggestibility, and drastic changes in attitude and belief. And B, by making a person behave the way they want, then they can make that person believe that the way they want. You know what I mean? And that's why they all have the same thing. You know what I mean? They all believe in the one thing, and that's that you, the profane, are out to get them. And that is actually said in some book here, I'm sure. Anyway, it's more to it. But I'll let you read that. Do you know what I mean? Is either evil, all criticism is equated with persecution. It is an assumption of every cult that the rest of the world is either evil or negative or out to destroy them. We are the profane. We are the profane. We will rule the galaxy. That's what they think. Do you know what I mean? We're after them. In the world of Freemasonry, outsiders are referred to as the profane. As I keep telling you, you're the profane. You're outside the temple. You're the hated profane. Anyway, which means blasphemous and offensive. Do you see what I mean? I keep telling you, you guys have got to wake up. Do you know what I mean? It's you, the profane, who's non-Mason, against the Freemasons. And I'll tell you, they've got all the numbers in the men and the women. They've got their one controlled army, yeah. And they're organised. Are you organised? No. Have you got any money in the bank? More than likely you have, but the Freemasons will wipe you out with money as well. Do you know what I mean? They've not only got that, they've got all the dangerous gangs in their Freemasons as well. Do you know what I mean? Real criminals. We're not talking like people that just, these are dangerous men. You know what I mean? And they'll kill you anyway. Offense. In the end, the cultist loses all ability to doubt. There are no longer any problems or mysteries, for everything has an answer. You know what I mean? So that's what I'm saying. Read this yourself. I've only got the minor bits of it. You know what I mean? But like I said, you're the hated profane, yeah. And I keep telling you. You know what I mean? Again, look. If you look at Mein Kampf, was Le Bon's The Crowd, which was so simple, written that a 10-year-old child could quite happily read it. Temple warns us that the plain simple fact is that Hitler's misuses of Le Bon's ideas were the greatest antisocial abuse of hypnosis so far in history, and what is more, it could be repeated. And it has been repeated. We all know it's been repeated many times, you know. Again, I think I've got Turner and Hiram Key. I think that's in the forum, do you know what I mean? But you just got to read it, you know. I can't go through it all. I'm sure I've took this out for a reason from the ritual. See, psychological trips, yeah, are employed in, whereas Lomas believes that they are there for increased cerebral pleasure, and who feels they are used in order for that the candidate has a more spiritual experience. I believe that these techniques are cleverly obscured in the ritual by having apparently plausible explanation for them in terms of historical or mystical. Oh, that's it. But you'll have to read that yourself. There's something on that page I wanted to actually get to, but I can't remember. Do you know what I mean? Where it is. Like I said, I can't get everything off the top of my head straight away. This is the summary and the conclusion. I'll let you guys read that. This is his summary. You know what I mean? At the end of the book. So, and I hope you'll read it. I'm sure there's a few bits in there more than likely what I'd pull out myself, but I can't remember. But yeah, these are the people you're up against. You know what I mean? Yeah, look, look at this. That obviously such an organisation with branches all over the world would be very important politically, which we know they are. And as we see that on the one hand, the Catholic Church tried to stop its advance, while on the other, English royalty, head of the Church of England, became very involved in the early days of Grand Lodge, eventually becoming its leader and promoter, and positions it still holds today in the person of the Duke of Kent, the Grand Master. And I'm going to show you a king. Well, the King of England was the same thing, and it's just passed on, and you've got to wake up to that they control everything. Just because there's someone, you know, like Boris Johnson, he's just a puppet for the Knights and the Freemasons. Do you know what I mean? You know, and it, like I said, the garrisons in every town. You got a lot. If you take over a country, you need garrisons and forts in every town and city, so you keep a valid eye on your interests. Do you see what I mean? Yeah, and the best way to do that is Freemasonry. You know what I mean? Because they've got a fort and a castle in every town and city, and if there's anything going to be uprising or whatever, they're on it like that. You know, they know everything. There ain't nothing that get past with Freemasonry, I'll tell you. Yeah, so there you go. We'll just let you read that for a minute. Just a second. Thought I'll just keep this video. Yeah, that is the last one anyway, so that's brilliant. You know what I mean? See? Yeah, all with joining fees, separate and again, may required to purchase. Not surprising that very few establishments sell required phoneria, such as business would be a gold mine, selling pieces of material, books and special jewellery at inflated price, capture expanding market, who are obliged to buy. You know what I mean? But that's all money, all money. Anyway, that was that. I hope you enjoyed that. Mark my spine control. Now again, I want to go on here, look. Watch the octagon. See, this is the Knights, look. Notice the little cross there. You know what I mean? I won't get into too much stuff. But this is the Knight of the Octagons. Now, if that was the red cross, yeah, obviously. You know what I mean? Octagon. Octagon. I want you to look that way. That's where you're going, look. Octagon, Masonic Lodge, yeah, the octagon, yeah. You know what I mean? Very important, the octagon. Ooh, down it. Again, Masonic octagon. See the cross as well, same cross, okay? Everything has a double meaning. These are the signs as well around the outside here, yeah, the key. You know what I mean? The triangle. The, I forgot what's bloody called. Oh, the level. The cube. The trowel. The square. The mallet. The ruler. Do you see what I mean? These are all important. Obviously, you've got the two pillars. Also look at the diamonds, yeah, you know what I mean? That's an important, and obviously the square, you know what I mean? Because the pyramids, because them diamonds, apparently the pyramids are diamonds, you'll have to look it up, you know what I mean? So as above, so below, yeah? So, but that's getting a bit more into other stuff, but diamonds, yeah, is as above, so below, do you know what I mean? Like the pyramids in Egypt are diamonds, yeah? apparently. So something, you know, do you know what I mean? As above, so below, because you go down into it, don't you? Do you see what I mean? Down into the pyramid. Okay, down into the pyramid. So the pyramid is upside down as well as upside the other way, if you get what I mean. Anyway, that's another story. What's this here for? I don't know. I think. Oh, I don't know. Is that Washington? It might be Washington. Look, with the showing you where the obviously the trail and compass and you know the square. Keep calling it the trail. Oh dear. There's my gang stalker there. Can you see him? He's up in that tree. But anyway, let's move on. Again, like I said, this is here. This is a. Do you know what I mean? They're watching you. They're everywhere. This is what they're saying. You know, every time you say it, they go, and they know. You know what I mean? And like I said, when I read this book, I'm sure I didn't know if it was in them pages I've missed, but in that book it says every Mason, regardless of where, even the ones that spill the beans, you know, like him, he said they're still reluctant to give out the full, you know, of what's going on with Masonry. Do you know what I mean? Because they know, you know, so there's threats there. Do you know what I mean? They know, and they don't just do it for this generation. They do it to your next generation. Do you know what I mean? Like my gang stalkers, you know, I've had to talk to me about it. Do you know what I mean? But that's another story. But again, it can be generational. Do you know what I mean? You know, they can skip it and then, you know, because they know everything. Trust me, they've got everything in that lodge. Every person that's born, died, or whatever is in that lodge knows about it. Yeah, do you know what I mean? Because as soon as you register your child or whatever, they're the people that are straight away in control of that information because they run the town halls. Do you see what I mean? And then you're watched by the other Masons as you come up. You know, you go around your mates. Do you know what I mean? They'll see if you're like whatever. You'll join the Cubs or the Girl Guides or whatever. See Scouts, dun dun dun, and they're watching you. Do you know what I mean? They're looking for leaders. You join a boxing club. Do you know what I mean? Boom, boom, boom. They're the people, you know, and that's the way they recruit. Do you know what I mean? They don't want, you know, they'll take weak people in or whatever, or best friends or whatever. They'll take you in. Do you know what I mean? But they'll be there for a ring of protection. Do you know what I mean? So when someone says, you do this and you do that, they'll say, well, that never happens in my lodge. No, it doesn't happen in your lodge. What you mean is it don't happen in your chapter. Do you know what I mean? Because there'll be 20 chapters, you know what I mean? 18 of them could be really bad chapters, but the two, well, as say 50 members each, are still 100 men denying it never happened. But if you've got the others going, no, it didn't happen. Do you know what I mean? Do you see what I'm saying? That reinforces their lie that nothing happens in their lodge. No, it doesn't happen in your lodge. What you mean is it don't happen in your chapter. Do you know what I mean? And there's a big difference to that. People think, oh, it's just a lodge. No, it's not just a lodge. Within that lodge is all them chapters. Do you know what I mean? And then just because there's that lodge, you've then got the Grandmaster lodges above that, and more than likely more lodges above that, which I'm going to show you in a minute. Well, I'll show you some of the lodges already. Do you know what I mean? That's just London and a few other places. Do you know what I mean? Yeah, this is Grandmaster Master Masons of England and Wales, Dominion and dependencies of the British Crown. so they're the dominions and dependencies of the British Crown. What does that mean? I don't know. I ain't got a clue. I'm hoping someone else can tell me. You know what I mean? But yeah. And don't forget, it's the Grand Lodge, according to all of them. I thought the Duke was on here somewhere. Maybe he isn't. But there you go. This here, dear brothers. Here's a bit of a financer here, look. Okay. Whoa, easy tiger. See, this is how they work, look. You see? This umbrella, right? So I'll let you read it, you know what I mean? And you work it out for yourselves, yeah? So you burden of raising the money, this rests on individual craft lodges, yeah? Now remember, see, that's craft lodges. There's different lodges for different things, you see what I mean? So when you say, oh, it's a lodge, no, it's not. It's different types of lodges, do you know what I mean? Within lodges, do you see what I mean? So it's not just a lodge, you know what I mean? There's multiple lodges, and like I said, in them multiple lodges, like you could have 5 lodges, right, in a lodge, and then within that 5 lodges, you've got 20 different side degrees learning and all that, but chapters, do you see what I mean?
So when people say to me, oh, look at that lodge, no, it's not look at that lodge. How many lodges are within the lodge, and how many chapters are within them lodges of chapters, if you get what I mean. But they don't just have the lodge meets at the lodge anyway. That'll be in hotels, all sorts of things, all different types of places, do you know what I mean? But here's how they raise their money anyway, and you can work it out for yourself, do you know what I mean? There's a lot of money, and it's a pyramid, and it goes up, and they're paid well for this. They don't get it, ain't for nothing. They get paid, do you know what I mean? All Freemasons are paid an extra wage, regardless of if they're like milkmen, they're still getting their Masonic wage, do you see what I mean? But they're doing a job for the Freemasons by keeping an eye out and listening and watching. You know what I mean? And that's what it's all about. What's this? Now this is how they do it. Look, this is one of their charities. Yeah, the association was formed in 1976. Right, self-contained flats. Yeah, the charity is for the elderly people, and so they can who can live independently with an existence. Yeah, but the clause in there, look, let fair rent, but more prop satellite. Right, the management. Right there. Right, because taxpayers' money is being used, right, there is an understanding that a certain proportion of lettings to be mutually agreed is made available to the nominees of the local housing authority who are suitable for this type of accommodation. However, the actual selection of tenants remains with the Masonic Housing Association and is exercised through house committees, thus the charity is outward looking as well as helping Freemasons and their dependents. Do you see what I mean? So that, right, just by that there, okay, is telling you that regardless, who's going into this, the only people who are getting into this here, this development, right, and they're running it and they're getting the money for it, they've got their own people in there, and the only ones who are getting in there is people associated with Freemasonry, but they won't name that. Do you see what I mean? They say, oh, Mr. Smith's just got in there. Oh, okay. Do you see what I mean? Nothing of Masonry or Freemasonry is ever mentioned, but the Freemasons will put them people in there. Again, I'll show you again. Look, what we got, the chest scheme relief. I can't read that, sorry. But if we go to this side, the aim, the trust also has the power to provide sufficient funds are available to grant assistance to any child who is not a child of a Freemason. The aim is to provide, so far as possible, the same opportunities in life as would have been available to the child concerned that had death or other misfortune not occurred within the family. So wait there, with the age of Freemason. This is it. Those eligible for association for assistance are the children, including adopted children and stepchildren of any age of Freemasons under the United Grand Lodge of England who are considered to be in need of in such assistance. Do you see what I mean? So again, this is their Masonic trust thing. Okay, you can say, well, it's for girls and boys, that's the Masonic thing. But it's all they do is self-charity themselves. Do you know what I mean? You've got the welfare fund, and it's the same in everything. Do you know what I mean? Only treated either for the prospect. Wait there, where is it here? Again, it's the same thing all the time. You know what I mean? Only for the people that to do with Freemasons. Do you know what I mean? But I'll let you read this yourselves, and it's there all in black and white. Do you know what I mean? They're just self-servient to themselves. Okay. Again, same again. Look, the object of bursary is to provide assistance by way of relieving poverty and or advanced education in relation to a female child or child of any age of a Freemason under the Grand Lodge of England, which child has not completed her education or training. Do you see what I'm saying? So only self-service themselves. Do you know what I mean? Again, look, this one, Harold Temptation Birds, all the same. Look, they're all different, but they're all the same stuff. Do you know what I mean? And it's always to do of a Freemason under the United. So it's all to do with Freemasons under the thingy. What you got? You get, and then when you go to the council, and they try and put your children in homes, because that's what they do. They steal your children because that's all money. You know what I mean? This is what it's all about. But I'll let you read it and you decide it for yourself. Do you know what I mean? I'll leave it up there for a second. There you go. Again, the management. Do you know what I mean? Look, the conduct committee, which meets monthly, is included, as well as 20 elect brethren, 10 members appointed by the Grand Master and his capacity, and all patrons of the vice process. Do you see what I mean? It's crazy. You know what I mean? And they get the chairs. Look, here's the homes. Look, the homes are Harwood Court, Devonshire Court. See what I mean? These are all the courts. These all belong to Freemasonry. This is all their money. Do you know what I mean? See? All money. And that's what it's all about. You see, they get money for this. Do you know what I mean? Okay, if it's fair and squeak, that's good. But it ain't. Because the only people who are getting in are the people from, you know, that belong to Freemasons. Do you know what I mean? Same again. You know what I mean? See, look at the chapters. See, chapters, look, chapters. See, yeah, actually that tells you here that, look, the governors of those Freemasons of the Constitution who have dominated minimum of 5 to either the general fund of the Samaritan funds, but lodges are lodges, chapters, etc. are the registered Grand Lodge of England, the Grand Lodge of Ireland, the Grand Lodge of Scotland, the Grand Lodge of Master Masons of England and Wales, and the Supreme Grand Chapter of England. See, these are all different chapters, do you know what I mean, and lodges that they, you know, and there's thousands of them, thousands of these men, you know what I mean. But again, have a look, do you know what I mean? I'll let you read that, because I can't keep going through, you know. I mean, I'm not very good at reading anyway, really. But yeah. Look, the demand for financing from the public purse greatly exceeds the supply, and the Masonic houses have not been able to develop fast. Properly built on the Masonic houses that are let at a fair rent, but more exceedingly a satellite Compass housing. Compass, notice the Compass. They always name their housings about, you know, all to do with Freemasonry anyway. Has been the purpose of providing shelter house flat to be made available leasehold, yeah. But again, this will be for the, you know, just for the you know, the and by the way, the people that are contracted to them, you know, like say as a catering company, the catering company will belong to a certain Masonic, you know, member or whatever. Do you know what I mean? And if they don't take that Masonic thing, then they take them to court with an internal court within Freemasonry. See, so they're scared to give a profane person the contract, because if they do, they're then sued internally by their Masonic lodge, yeah, and fined and blah blah blah. Do you know what I mean? So so if there's a contract to do the roof, say there's a leak on the Masonic roof, yeah, right, even if it's like got public funds going in there or whatever, the contract to seal that roof off will be a Masonic mason. Do you see what I mean? Because if they don't, and there's two people who are bidding on it, one's a mason, one's a profane person, the mason's going to get it, because if the profane person gets it and the mason gives it to it, the other one can take the other one to court, you see, which I think I've sort of relayed in other videos anyway. But do you know what I mean? Oh yeah, this is grants made, look. Do you know what I mean? Look at the money, look. That was in 1975, 100,000. Now you think how much money that was back then? Do you know what I mean? But this is some of the money, 500,000. See what I mean? That's their charities, like, you know. And you think what back pay they're getting, you know, the backhanders, look. Do you know what I mean? And there's the subtotals there, like Westminster Abbey. Do you know what I mean? Restoration appeal. You know what I mean? This is like, you know, the police department's trust. Do you see what I mean? The Duke of Edinburgh award scheme, boiler, so you know what I mean, that goes on and on. But that's, you know, again, you can flick that yourselves and have a look at it. I suppose I could flick it, I suppose, boom, like that. You know what I mean? But yeah, that's what it's all about, you know what I mean? But I'll let you guys read that yourselves, yeah. And there's their obligation, you know what I mean, with my own free will and accord. This is the sort of obligation they go, I'll leave that there and you can say it yourselves, okay. Here we go, kiss the book, you know what I mean? Remember, that's twice. And I said about the other test where they have to spit on the Bible, and if they spit on it, they know he's going to be like, you know, a bit satanically, so they'll put him to the right door. Do you know what I mean? If he doesn't spit on it, they'll go, and off he goes to the left. Do you know what I mean? But there's another one at the end. There's 4 Bibles at the, you know, another test. There's 4 Bibles. One's a Quran. One's a I forgot now, and there's, you know, there's 3 Bibles. Do you know what I mean? And they have to pick one Bible depending on what Bible they pick. Every Bible they pick, it doesn't matter what Bible they pick, is the right choice. Do you know what I mean? They never make a wrong choice. It just shows them whether they're going through the left door or through the right door, depending on how they pick or what they pick. Do you see what I mean? So with the 4 Bibles, only one Bible is the right choice, and I think it's the Quran they have to pick up. I'm sure it is, but I don't know. So they have to pick one Bible out of the 4. Do you know what I mean? And depending on what one they pick up depends on what door they go through, the good door or the bad door. Do you know what I mean? Or wherever they're up to. But I'll let you read that. That's enough for that, I say. Okay. And again, this is their obligation, and this is what they have to do. This is for the fellow craft. I think this is, isn't it? I think it's the fellow craft mason. Yeah, I think it is. Yeah, the gear to do guards, blah blah blah. There's the past script of fellow craft mason. Its name was Shibboleth. Yeah, it's originally explained in the lecture, which is up there. And this is all what they have to do to recognise each other. It's not just simple as this. You have to do a step. You know what I mean? There's a step. There's a penal sign and a word. You know what I mean? And this is what you've got to memorise. This is this is what you have to memorise. And if you can't get that, you're buggered. That's what I'm saying. It's all, this is just what they have. I'll let you read that yourselves. Remember, they're always trying to go east. You know what I mean? See, that's light, and then it's more light, and then something more light or whatever. They're always looking for light. You know what I mean? Here we go. We'll move on. It's a bit more. You know what I mean? Obviously, there's a lot more to this than just this. Do you know what I mean? So it's no good thinking you can learn. Well, you can obviously, but you still need that password. You know what I mean? There's so much things that can trip you up. Like I said, to spell Boaz, you don't spell it as halved or spelt. Again, look, here we go with an obligation. I got this the other week, and look, I was a bit worried about this. Look, until the latest period of your existence. Look, there's two, right, by your seek and candid behaviour, 2 great dangers, but traditionally there is a third. Yeah, so there's 2 great dangers, like with their oaths, obviously to have their throat cut. Yeah, which is somewhere here. You can see it. Yeah, look, see to have your coat. Throat cut across, yeah, TCA, right, etc. But look, 2 great dangers, but traditionally there is a third, which will await you until the latest period of your existence. So is there something they tell them on their deathbed, or there's gonna, or they, do you know what I mean? Whatever that may be, and it's something in your life because you betrayed them. You know what I mean? There's a third danger. Do you know what I mean? See what I mean? So there's danger there. Do you know what I mean? You can read that yourself at your own leisure anyway. But again, what is that? What is the last thing they hear on their existence? Do you know what I mean? Some of these words are wiped out here, and I couldn't get it. You have danger, which would have something awaited you, and I can't remember what that's like the secrets of Freemasonry. That's I think I've blocked it out, but I'll have to have a look and go through it. I haven't had a chance. Anyway, here's your king. The king and the craft. Yeah, you know what I mean? These people run it for all of it. Again, look, after 4 years, right, often angry deliberation, the Welsh Assembly has finally decided to drop the standing order to single out Freemasonry who are elected members. Yeah, so what the fight is in, I'll let you read it yourselves. Yeah, and it's about the king and all that. It's about them again declaring their self members. And the thing is, you work it out. If they would declare themselves members, and I've got all their books anyway of just the where I live. I've got all the member lists. Do you know what I mean? I've got every member that is a Freemason within my own county. So anyway, but again, if you learn who's who, yeah, not only do you know, because you can do a CEO check on businesses within your town and cities, yeah. So that tells you who owns what businesses, and I've been doing this 25 years, yeah. So not only does it tell you who owns what businesses, it tells you if they're a Freemason or not. Do you see what I mean? That's why they don't want to declare themselves, yeah, because then you can start really put on it. You get two policemen turn up and they're Freemasons, right? You're arrested, boom, down the cells, right? You go to court, ushered in to the court by 2 Serco guys or whatever they are, and they're Freemasons because that's who runs it. If you're not sure who runs Serco, have a look. You know what I mean? That's Freemasonry that runs Serco. Okay, they own, you know, they're now running the prisons and the thingy. You know what I mean? They're just obviously paid criminals. But anyway, that's another story. But look up who runs Serco. So you've got two Freemasons taking you into the court. You then stand in front of a barrister or a what's he called, a solicitor. Do you know what I mean? And the usher in the front and the judge, or what they call the judge, is a magistrate, and they're all Freemasons, right? So straight away, I mean, who's controlling that system? Do you see what I mean? Who's controlling you? Not a judge, not Freemasonry. Do you see what I mean? You then get taken to prison, where there's more Freemason guards. Oh, it gets ridiculous. Do you know what I mean? Yeah, but that's what it's about. And there he is in his regalia. You know what I mean? See, the top man. Notice in the middle of that one, no, look. See it there, look, the pentagram. You know. There you go. Yeah. Even kings. You see? This is the thing I was on about. You remember when I said they point 3 times left and right? That's what that signifies, you see. But before we get into that, we don't want to get into that. But anyway, the King of the Craft, again, you can read it. I'll just leave it there for a minute. You know what I mean? Like I said, look, yeah, it tells you there, look, it joined the Royal Navy. See, they own the Navy, they own the Army, they own everything. They own the skies. There ain't nothing they don't own. Look, the Royal Air Force, do you know what I mean? All of this they own because he's in charge of it. So, who owns the Army, Air Force? They do. Do you see what I mean? They're already ready. Do you know what I mean? They've already got the troops on the ground in every town, city. Do you know what I mean? They're every policeman was running around, you know, jobbing up on like all sorts of people and dragging them off to the cells, you know, whatever they're doing, just for a bit of COVID. Do you know what I mean? And they're now bringing in a law, I believe, where you can't even do a peaceful protest. So you tell me, do you know what I mean? And they're doing that because they know things are getting out. You know, obviously people are waking up, aren't they? Do you know what I mean? I'll let you read that, but I thought you didn't, you know, find it interesting. Now I know this is the grand architect of the universe. This one, I ain't got a clue, and I forgot. I do, but I forgot what it is, and I've just gone out of my head. But I'll tell you what it is later. Right? You know me, I always get it later. But that's the crest again. As above, so below. But notice how it is, how it's intertwined. Yeah, you know what I mean. Over and under. Yeah, everything's, you know, everything is technical. You know what I mean. But that's a royal arch. Look at that. You know what I mean? Oh yeah, you go, look, information Permanent Committee, only Londonderry. See, first name, date of birth, occupation, business. This is what they want to know. You know what I mean? Again, I'll let you read that. You know what I mean? Give the name of any influential people as referenced as to this character. Do you know what I mean? There you go. And then we've got, oh yeah, there's a few ditties they like there, you know what I mean? Oh, we do like baby beside the seaside. That's that one there, by the way. You know what I mean? And yeah, we've got a few songs there. I thought I'd put them in as a bit of an interest, you know what I mean? It's a long way to Tipperary. It's a long way to go. You know? So yeah, so there's a few, so you like to sing a song, there's a few there for you guys and girls, you know what I mean? As you say, or as Jimmy Savile used to say in his Masonic lodge. And then we've got some real secrets here. Shh, keep this quiet. The Masons ain't gonna like this one. Have you anything? Right, you see these little marks here? Look, what are on this bit of paper? See that? That's what they can put on your any legal document, and they'll last the Freemasons. You see that? And what is this? What does it demand? Give me that freely and at length. What it demands freely and at length. Yeah, so they've got to explain what these two little signs mean. I'm going to get into that a bit later, but I'm just showing you how simple, you know, that it's not just one, you know, they're writing, yeah, like shoe. I don't know if you noticed it, it's SHOOS if you call them shoes or whatever. See, they have these little things, right, where they leave little pieces out, do big spellings and all the rest of it. Do you know what I mean? But they also have these little figureheads like this, you see? See that? It's like half a Masonic apron, isn't it? Do you see what I'm saying? Get that? Half a Masonic apron there, look, isn't it? Yeah, you see what I'm saying? But this is what it's on about. But this is part of their ritual. Do you know what I mean? But again, like I said, you won't see this you won't see this anywhere. You show me anywhere. You know what I mean? Again, as a fellow craft, you know what I mean? Have you anything to blah 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 by it? But I don't want to get into that yet, right? But I'll show you what these mean later. Right, now we've got an Enter the Apprentice song, yeah. But the interesting thing is, right, the world is in pain. Our secrets to gain, yeah. Let them wonder and gaze on till they're shown the light. They'll never know the right word or sign of an accepted Mason, right? But this is the great thing. Look. So why so many great men of the nation should aprons put on to make themselves one? Do you see what I mean? They're just one, regardless. They're just one army, yeah. Right. Look, great kings, dukes, and lords, and this is what you're up against. You know, landowners, whatever. They're all in the parliament. You know that anyway. They all run both sides of the government, yeah, and this is what you're up against, you know what I mean? And like I said, this is over the world over, land, sea, air, they control it all, you know what I mean? This is what it's about. But read between the lines and you'll know. I've got other poems, you know, that I can't remember off the top of my head how they go, but I just, every time it's like great nations fall, but Masons are still there, do you know what I mean? This is some, oh yeah, here we go. This is what they do, look. A brother desiring to speak to anything, blah blah blah, but they fine you. They give you penalties. Look, you see. You know, these are all the fines. You know what I mean? So they give you fines and that. See, they got their own internal courts. Yeah, you know what I mean. And this is what they do. They fine you. Like I said, they take other brothers to court. If you go for a contract, and like I said, it goes to a profane person, he can then shout him out in the lodge, and then take him. To court in like a kangaroo court, basically. You know what I mean? I'll be quite willing to go to a kangaroo court with any Freemasons if they want to put me in the old thingy, and then we'll televise it live on Facebook, and then we'll see how you lot get on against my accusations. We can kangaroo court some of my gang stalkers. Anyway, that's another story. This is the director of Buffaloes, right? The Royal Affidavit, whatever that word says, Antediluvian Order of Buffaloes Directory, official list of lodges under the Grand Lodge of England. Okay, so this is Buffalo lodges. This is not Masonic lodge. Well, they're Masonics, obviously. Remember, these are Freemasons. This is just this is just like the Shriners and all that malarkey. Yeah, okay. But this is, like I said, this is lodges, nothing to do with Mark Masters and all the rest of it. This is Buffalo lodges, okay? So here we go, look. This is in Shropshire, right? Provisional Grand Lodge. They're in Shropshire, okay? This is what I'm trying to get you used to, how big this army is, yeah? City of York, you know what I mean? Great Yarmouth, right? Look at that. Can you imagine that? And they're still going now. I think there's 6 or 7 in our territory, I'm sure. But I won't quote me on that. Anyway. Boom. And then we've got London, Luton, Lowestoft. And then we've got Sheffield. Look at that in Sheffield, all them lodges. Oh yeah, by the way, just like I said, look, Norfolk Arms, so it's pubs and hotels. Look, something hotel, yeah, Shakespeare Hotel. See, it's always in hotels. The reason they have it in hotels is because when they get their prostitutes in, they then go service the prostitutes up in the rooms. Do you know what I mean? And if you ain't sure that happens, go look at the Shriners and what they're up to. That's all on there. That's all. You know, I've got the wives and the girlfriends posting about them. Do you know what I mean? Finding suitcases, Johnnies. You know what I mean? A whole suitcase full of Johnnies. What, you think that's just for one man, do you? Anyway, yeah, so they like it in hotels because then, you know, straight away they have the parties, they get the women in. And I suggest if you're listening to this and you're a wife of a Mason, I suggest you stick a little GPS on his car. You'll soon find out where he's going, and then keep an eye on where they're going, and then send me the videos if you get anything. You know what I mean? Like I said, you'll see strippers going in and prostitutes into certain hotels just to join them. Do you know what I mean? Because that's what these people do. Anyway. And then we've got the Prince Lodge Memorial Hall.
You know what I mean? All of these, you see what I mean? Royal Order of the Buffalo, you know what I mean? Boom. See it? All over the place. Look, Lower East Knights chapter. Do you see what I mean? Knights. They're just knights, but they're just all Freemasons, regardless. Yeah. This is how big this army is. Yeah. This gang. Yeah. I'm gonna get. You know. And I thought I'd throw this in for some of my Australian friends. Yeah. You know who you are, right? Look at that, Western Australia Grand Lodge. Yeah. This is South Australia. This page on this side. Okay. And then you've got this side of the other. If you want to know more, because obviously I haven't put everything in here, do you know what I mean? This is just a few pages. And then we've got the Queensland, you know what I mean? That's the Western. Look at all these lodges, do you know what I mean? Who the hell, do you know what I mean? I just think, Christ, what an army, look, do you know what I mean? And you've got to think, you know, if this is just like a pub, right? You ain't getting two men just turn up at this pub, do you see what I mean? You get, you know, work out the numbers, think about it, and it's got the days they meet here as well, you know. Okay, but you work it out, you know what I mean? Because they've got so many people, so many, you know, within their different chapters, blah blah blah. Yeah, they need these places. Do you know what I mean? Because they can't fit them all into a normal lodge. Do you see what I mean? So they have to do it to total. And I'll guarantee it, right? The people who own these hotels, yeah, like the ones near, like where I am, yeah, are all Freemason owned. Do you see what I mean? They own because the money's there. Do you see what I mean? The profane go in, they want a hotel. Everyone wants a hotel, yeah, regardless. So it's money. You can't lose money being it running a hotel, if you get what I mean. You know, same as like pubs are out the window now. That's why they're demolishing them, so they can put their houses on there. Then they put like 16 flats on it, you know, or how, you know, like whatever. And then start renting that out. That's guaranteed income, but who's paying it? Where's the income coming from? The council are paying the rent for the people they're putting in the flats. Do you see what I mean? But it's all gone to the lodge. Do you see what I mean? Even though they built it, see, it's money for old rope. You see, they've got loads of money. They know every trick in the book. You see what I mean? They're the ones buying the pubs, and you go, oh, it's just Joe Bloggs buying a pub. No, it's not Joe Bloggs buying a pub. It's the local Freemason, and then he's turned into a set of flats. You know what I mean? And then when he dies, then flats will go to the lodge. Do you know what I mean? But even though it doesn't officially come under the lodge, if you get what I mean. But there you go. And keep that quiet. And that is about it. I think that is the end of the presentation. Ooh. That is that's it. You know what I mean? There's more coming soon. I'll get into more of their finances and what they actually spend. Well, like I said, this is their power, you know what I mean? And they've got the eye everywhere. Believe me, if you don't think you're being watched, you've been watched from the day you're at school. Do you know what I mean? To the day you are now. Do you know what I mean? They know everyone who's a threat and who isn't. And if you are, they're stalking you. You know what I mean? Because people in power don't relinquish their power. So when you think, oh, you know what I mean? No, they're still in power. They'll never give up their power, and they'll always be in power. You know what I mean? And when it gets to, and then I'll believe this, when it gets to the nitty gritty of you getting anywhere near them and sussing them out that they're going to kill you, they're going to line all the troublemakers, especially people like me. Before you even get there, I'll either meet with an accident or a bullet in the head. You know what I mean? Because that's what they do. They've spoke about it enough anyway, haven't you guys? But yeah, my gang stalkers, do you know what I mean? They got the power, they got the money, they got everything. Do you know what I mean? You know, even I can't go into it. You know what I mean? But anyway, yeah, trust me. When it comes down to it, and you get to taking their power away, you're seriously going to see what Freemasons are capable of, because they're going to be the first ones with the swords. They're going to be the first ones with the guns, and they're the first ones who are going to line you all up and sort you out. I'm telling you that for nothing. Each and every one of you. So remember, don't keep speak out. Please turn up, ask them if they're Freemasons. If you go to the doctors, ask him if he's a Freemason. You know what I mean? Record everything. You know what I mean? Find out who's who. In the end, you'll find. Remember, I did a part about doctors. Again, if your medication is being messed about, is it because you're like a target by the Freemasons? Because that's what they do. Trust me. Right? Keep silent. Don't keep the corruption, because if you speak out too much, they'll get away with everything. Keep quiet. Don't tell Freemasons anything.
Have a great day. Remember, I love you all. It's a pleasure doing business with you.